On Wednesday, March 22, 2017, the village of Falconer's skyline was changed forever.
Kind of surreal because it was the whole village seemed like it was going down on the west side.
Explained former Village of Falconer Mayor James Rensel when reflecting on one of the largest fires in village history at 39 West Main Street. Among the first on the scene was former Falconer Volunteer Fire Chief Charles Piazza.
But within, I think, 10 minutes to 15 minutes, I think almost every Falconer member was here. You know, and then we started, all of our mutual aid that came in.
Piazza tells us he was amazed that with a fire of this size, no one was hurt.
It was just amazing, that many firemen on the ground. I think we had one minor knee injury for somebody slipping.
Around 30 various fire departments responded to aid Falconer crews in fighting flames. It took several hours for the fire to be extinguished and several more months before cleanup could get underway. However, one thing was immediate: the community's support for victims.
I'm not originally a native Falconer resident, but the people that were very on the scene and very involved in what was happening, and it was all hands on deck type of thing. And after the fire, I mean, that was nothing else was on our minds as far as what we're going to do to replace this spot here.
Since then, the village is looking for a developer to bring new life to the property. The pandemic, they tell us, has delayed the process a bit, but those in Falconer are hopeful for the future. At the time, officials say they did not suspect arson was the cause. However, following a local and state fire investigation, the cause was deemed and a suspect was named: 19-year-old Jonathan Young. Young was charged with nearly a dozen fires, including 3 at 621 East 6th Street during the month of March. Now retired Jamestown Police Chief Harry Snellings told reporters during a press conference announcing Young's arrest that his investigation used evidence from those fires to advance their case.
We were confident he was our suspect at our 3 fires at 621. As video surfaced and there were a few other pieces of evidence, helped us tie him into the other fires.
The majority of the fires took place on Friday, March 24, 2017, with emergency resources stretched thin. At the time, the current deputy fire chief of the Jamestown Fire Department, Matthew Kuhn, was tasked with dispatching crews at the Chautauqua County 911 Center.
So to send the first structure fire call out was pretty routine. Had no expectation that other incidents were going to be developing in short order. And as you're already aware, Jamestown's resources got committed to the first incident, and then as the incidents kept unfolding beyond that point, we kept having to kind of branch off and kind of pivot a little bit.
The fire department's manpower, Kuhn tells us, was stretched to the brink, which is why departments like the Village of Falconer responded to lend a hand. A weary-eyed and tired Chief Piazza is among those who answered the call.
Second Assistant Chief Marcus Fosberg called me and said, "I need you now." It's something about 7-Eleven, Robo, and 10th Street. Then once I got my bearings, I realized, looked at my phone and seen that we got called to the city. And when I got there was a lot going on that night. I mean, it was chaotic. I mean, you had fire trucks everywhere. I mean, moving block to block, basically.
From 6th and Windsor Streets to Crossman and Lakeview Avenue to West 11th Street to 10th Street, 4 fires burned simultaneously in a 4-hour period. Suspicion was high.
From a firefighter's intuition type standpoint, yeah, the short answer would be yes. I mean, to have a succession of incidents that keep occurring certainly would raise a flag in your mind to say something is very abnormal here.
Even 5 years later, Kuhn says the blazes remain top of mind.
They're catastrophic events, whether the property is empty, vacant, abandoned, or occupied. There's always a life danger with a fire, even if it's in an unoccupied structure, and it's going to affect, the neighborhood, the morale of the neighborhood, the residents that live there. Nobody, including the fire department, wants to see that happen. So I do believe, even though we are 5 years in, that there's still that degree of heightened awareness where when fires occur, the residents of the neighborhood, they're very vigilant with those things, and we appreciate them calling in